looked at my blood biochemistry, and I'm actually now younger and healthier than I've ever been since I've been measuring it over a decade. Now it's more like 14 years.
Let me introduce you to Dr. David Sinclair, a renowned genetics professor at Harvard Medical School. Dr. Sinclair as he was in 2013, at the age of 44, a decade later at 54. Interestingly, he appears to have aged in reverse, looking even younger now than he did 10 years ago. Over the years, Dr. Sinclair has made significant changes to his diet and lifestyle. According to his scientific research, these changes have effectively made his body younger.
I can plot various parameters, testosterone, glucose, the list goes on, inflammation, blood type, blood cell composition. And for most of those markers, I'm better than a 20-year-old for health. And I think a lot of that's due to my new diet that I've adopted, because I can just see things getting better and better over time.
In this video, we'll dive directly into Dr. Sinclair's scientific findings, which will break down into 5 key areas. First, we'll share the foods he consciously avoids in his quest for longevity. Second, we'll explore the exercise routines that contribute to a longer life. Third, we'll discuss the most crucial dietary habits for longevity. Fourth, we'll list the specific foods that Dr. Sinclair consumes to promote longevity. Lastly, we'll reveal the daily supplements he takes. First, the foods he consciously avoids in his quest for longevity.
1. Sugar. Now, let's shift our focus to the dietary changes Dr. Sinclair made for longevity. The first thing he eliminated from his diet was sugar. Dr. David Sinclair is a firm believer in the power of a low-sugar diet for enhancing longevity, suggests that consuming high amounts of sugar can trigger health complications, such as type 2 diabetes and heart disease, potentially shortening one's lifespan. According to Dr. Sinclair, sugar intake can inhibit AMPK and sirtuins, key defenses against disease and aging. By reducing sugar in his diet, he aims to decrease inflammation and glycation, both of which are processes linked to aging.
The big killer is sugar. Glucose, particularly fructose, is also pernicious. And if you give animals lots of glucose, and especially fructose, they'll get fatty liver disease, they'll get diabetes. It's really bad. The best predictor of your long-term longevity that we know of is your blood sugar. When you've got high blood sugar, it attaches to a lot of proteins in your body. You become caramelized. Cancer cells, by the way, love sugar. They live on sugar. And that's another reason why you should try to keep it low. Try to avoid too much fruit, berries, particularly fruit juice. Definitely avoid that sugar high. Spiking your sugar is not healthy in the long run. Your body can make its own sugar. Your liver makes sugar. You just need to wait 2 weeks for it to get used to it. Our liver is pretty lazy, but after 2 weeks it learns, in the morning I have to make some sugar. And what I found is that my liver making sugar is a lot smarter than my eyes and my mouth eating sugar. There's even an order at which you can eat your meals to reduce the blood sugar spike. You can put the sugar at the end of the meal. You can quit something, but you don't have to be draconian about it. I still like to steal a few scoops of ice cream if I see it, but I'm not going to eat a giant bowl of ice cream every night.
Now that we've grasped the significance of reducing sugar intake, it's worth noting that if necessary, we can opt for healthier substitutes.
But there are substitutes. For example, monk fruit produces a sugar. Allulose, stevia is a big one for me.
2. Meat.
The next thing I cut out was meat, and that improved my numbers even better. Cholesterol, triglycerides all came down, and I have a familial history, genetics of heart disease. And it's not just the protein, it's also the fat that comes along with the steak and whatever that I was eating.
Dr. David Sinclair cautions against diets rich in protein and meat for the sake of longevity. He suggests that these diets can hasten the aging process by causing inflammation and deactivating sirtuins. Additionally, the branched-chain amino acids present in meat can stimulate mTOR, which in turn inhibits autophagy. Rather than advocating for a meat-heavy diet, Dr. Sinclair endorses a Mediterranean diet that is plant-based, low in carbohydrates, and rich in fats.
Well, I love meat. I would love to eat meat. It tastes really good. It's just the science says plants give you better bang for the buck for longevity than meat. Protein that's in plants has a ratio of amino acids that stimulates these longevity genes, the sirtuins, and another one called mTOR. And if you always eat meat every meal, your body's just not fighting aging the way it could if you ate more plants. I mean, you can eat meat occasionally. Fish, for example, has a lot of great omega-3 fatty acids. So I'm not against meat. I just think try to focus more on plants if you can.
3. Bread. Under the umbrella of sugar-rich foods, bread is one item that Dr. Sinclair has consciously removed from his diet.
First thing I cut out was a lot of carbohydrates. I used to eat bread every day. I would just if I ate something, it would be on toast. Okay, that's my life. I cut that out and have found immediate improvements in my biochemistry levels, particularly my glucose levels. Is that if you eat a piece of toast for breakfast, or heaven forbid, a giant glass of orange juice, you'll have this spike in sugar and you'll feel great. But then your body will put out too much insulin and suck that glucose out of your bloodstream and put you into a glucose deficit. And that's hypoglycemia. And then you're hungry. You've got ghrelin coming out into your body and you feel hungry and you need to eat something. I'm at a state though now where I don't get those rises and crashes. My liver is putting out glucose from when I wake up till dinner. And I've never been so focused. I've never been so brain fog free. Because these crashes, what they do is they make you feel shaky or tired and brain fog. And I wish I'd done this in my 20s and done it my whole life, because I've really never felt better because of it. For dairy. Fourth change was the dairy. Just to see what would happen. I figured it wouldn't matter. I'm not allergic to dairy. I'm not lactose intolerant. But it did have an effect. It made things even better. And what I think is going on, Shane, is that I was eating a large amount of protein, not just fat, but eggs and all that stuff. And now that I have less protein, I think that mTOR pathway that's really important for longevity in animals and probably people is really kicking in a way that had never done so before.
5. Alcohol.
The new research just over the last 2 years says that drinking alcohol every day is really not good for you. So I've cut out alcohol and I've focused on plants.
Dr. David Sinclair has chosen to remove alcohol from his diet in his pursuit of longevity. He holds the view that alcohol doesn't contribute positively to health. However, for those who find it challenging to completely abstain, he recommends wines made from grapes rich in polyphenols, such as Pinot Noir. These plant-based compounds are known to stimulate genes that promote longevity, known as sirtuins. While he occasionally indulges in a glass of red wine, he underscores the importance of moderating alcohol consumption for optimal health. Overindulgence in alcohol can negatively impact the liver, disrupt sleep, and contribute to body-wide inflammation.
In the case of red wine, choose grape varieties that are stress sensitive. Pinot Noir is one of the most sensitive, if not the most sensitive, grape variety. And that's why it has the most resveratrol of any other type of wine.
Second, we'll explore the exercise routines that contribute to a longer life. Dr. David Sinclair suggests a minimum of 30 minutes of moderate exercise each day. He posits that the benefits are accumulative and even brief periods of exercise throughout the day can be advantageous. His exercise regimen includes high-intensity interval training HIIT, running, and walking. He underscores that vigorous exercise until breathless can reverse aging and aid in muscle development. According to him, the intensity of your workout is more crucial than its duration.
Just exercise 3 times a week and lose my breath. You want to be able to be moving so fast that you cannot carry out a conversation easily. That's when you know you're becoming hypoxic, low in oxygen. And this low oxygen, we think, is a very good stimulator of this stress on the body. And your body responds in a positive way to build muscle, get better blood flow, and also your tissues will put out chemicals that slow aging. So really, if you can just lose your breath for 10 minutes, 3 times a week, that can give remarkable health benefits, lowering the rates of disease by 30%.
Third, we'll discuss the most crucial dietary habits for longevity. Dr. David Sinclair incorporates intermittent fasting into his lifestyle as a fundamental approach to longevity. He adheres to a 16-8 fasting regimen, which entails a 16-hour fasting period followed by an 8-hour window for consuming meals. He posits that welcoming hunger is a key aspect of longevity. Fasting triggers a variety of biological processes that enhance health and prolong lifespan. By periodically limiting caloric intake, intermittent fasting initiates autophagy, the body's mechanism for eliminating damaged cells and regenerating newer, healthier ones.
Eat less often. It's not just what you eat, it's also when you eat. And this constant eating, 3 meals a day plus snacks, is making us age faster than we need to. I like to eat within a period of about 6 hours a day. Over time, learned to do is skip meals. I'm not always successful. Sometimes I have breakfast in beautiful places. But my goal is to not eat a large meal until dinner. And then I eat a very healthy vegan meal.
So the benefits of intermediate fasting.
If you're down to 1 meal a day, which I am now, you shed weight and then you get your 20-year-old body back. That's a nice bonus. It's the period of not eating that's so important for boosting the body's defenses against aging to maximize longevity. But these long extended periods are doing a real deep cleanse on the body and turning on that autophagy, that process of recycling proteins, very deeply. There is a set of genes that I wrote about in my book, Lifespan, that's called the sirtuins. And they get turned on when there's not enough energy in the body. So if you don't have a lot of sugar in your bloodstream or a lot of protein, they will get turned on, and they defend the body against the damage that causes the aging. Certain diseases, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, even cancer, those diseases seem to also benefit from fasting, including when you combine chemotherapy with fasting. You get this double benefit for many types of cancers.
Fourth, we'll list the specific foods that Dr. Sinclair consumes to promote longevity. David Sinclair adheres to a diet primarily composed of plant-based foods to promote longevity. He prioritizes the intake of vegetables, mushrooms, legumes, whole grains, white meat, and fish. Additionally, he includes fruits, nuts, and seeds in his diet. He stays hydrated by drinking plenty of water and consumes yogurt rich in probiotics throughout the day. He encourages exploring various diets until you find one that suits your body type best. He warns that diets high in animal protein can hasten aging due to inflammation. He supports keto diets, as research has shown that diets high in carbohydrates have the highest mortality and fat content.
I went almost completely to plants, and my body has responded. I look better. I think my skin is better. I feel better. My memory is certainly better. You just look at those populations and people that live a long time, they are generally smaller, women who don't eat much, who eat vegetarian. I mean, that's the fact.
Sinclair doesn't just consume any plant-based foods. He specifically targets what he refers to as stress plants. This is based on the concept of xenohormesis, a hypothesis that suggests that certain molecules, like plant polyphenols, which are indicators of stress in plants, can confer benefits to another organism that consumes them. The anticipated benefits include enhanced lifespan and fitness, achieved by activating the consuming organism's cellular stress response.
Just remember, if your food is stressed, then you get the benefits. Stress your food so you don't have to. And so what we focus on are plants that are full of color. So try to eat bright red and purple, dark green colored vegetables, because those are the ones that have these polyphenols that can turn on the body's defenses. And actually in my lab, if we give polyphenols to mice, they actually get healthier and run further like they've been exercising. Well, the xenohormesis concept, Conrad Howitz and I coined this term in the mid-2000s, trying to explain why so many plant molecules are good for us. It just cannot be a coincidence. And we came up with this idea really prompted by a 2003 Nature paper that we co-published that found there were at least 20 plant molecules called polyphenols that activate the sirtuin enzyme called SIRT1. And when I looked into it, these polyphenols do remarkable things to the body. The one that got the most media attention because it's in red wine is resveratrol, but there's phycetanol and there's physedin and quercetin. These are supplements that people are getting excited about only now. But when you look into it, they activate and inhibit pathways or proteins in the body that are known to be important for health and longevity. So how do we know if a food has been stressed? Well, you can start with the generalization that if they're grown out in a field organically without pesticides, probably they're more stressed, right?
Lastly, we'll reveal the daily supplements he takes. It's important to note that Sinclair does not endorse any specific brands, nor does he sell any supplements. He does not make any recommendations in this regard. David Sinclair includes a range of supplements in his daily routine to enhance longevity. These encompass nicotinamide mononucleotide NMN and resveratrol, each taken at a daily dosage of 1 g. He also incorporates fisetin, lipoic acid, fish oil, L-taurine, vitamin D3, vitamin K2, trimethylglycine TMG, low-dose aspirin, and metformin into his regimen. Recently, he has added spermidine to his supplement list. These supplements are thought to increase NAD's levels, stimulate sirtuins, promote autophagy, and decrease inflammation, all of which contribute to improved health and longevity.
I would take resveratrol. I take a gram with a bit of yogurt, NMN, and then metformin. I don't sell any supplements, by the way.
Gotcha.
I'm not making any money.
But you...
Well, I don't recommend anything. I'm
Gotcha.
just a PhD. The one chemical that I take every day is resveratrol, which is the red wine chemical, and that comes from grapes. So that one gets sprinkled into some yogurt in the morning. NMN is a version of vitamin B3 that makes a chemical in the body that we need for life, and that's called NAD. And as we get older, we make less and less of this. And without NAD, these sirtuins that we discovered, slow aging, remember the genes that we discovered? They don't work without a lot of NAD. So as we get older, our defenses decline. And so by taking this supplement, we know that it doubles the levels of NAD back to when I was age 20. There's now clinical trials that my colleagues at Harvard have done that says that NMN has some health benefits in early studies, such as lowering cholesterol and blood pressure. And so I take that one every day as well. Third one is metformin. Metformin is a little bit more controversial because it's a drug. It's just classified as a drug. That doesn't mean it's necessarily dangerous. In fact, it's one of the world's safest drugs. It's used for type 2 diabetes to control blood sugar. And what's been found is that people who take metformin tend to live a lot longer. Even those who don't have type 2 diabetes, there's evidence that they are protected against cardiovascular disease and frailty and even Alzheimer's disease.
Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey into the science of longevity with Harvard genetics professor David Sinclair. We hope you feel inspired to make positive changes in your diet and lifestyle to unlock the secrets of aging reversal and embrace a future filled with vitality and joy. If you found this video informative and empowering, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more transformative content. Together, let's embark on a path towards greater health, happiness, and longevity.